On a cold November afternoon in 2021, families lined the streets of Waukesha, Wisconsin. Children waved. Marching bands played. Christmas had arrived early, but within minutes, celebration turned into terror, and what followed would become one of the most disturbing courtroom trials ever broadcast live. On November 21st, 2021, during the annual Waukesha Christmas Parade, a red Ford Escape suddenly plowed through the parade route. Witnesses watched in horror as the SUV struck children, elderly spectators, and parade performers. 6 people were killed. More than 60 others were injured. Much of the chaos was captured on parade live streams, cell phone videos, and police body-worn cameras responding within minutes.
And 2 citizens with me on Hartwell and White Rock saying that there's a fight in progress.
Can one of the squads go meet with where the subjects are that are claiming that this fight happened?
I escaped, black male, I couldn't stop it. He's going westbound, blowing his horn. We have multiple casualties. Major gas fire, we need multiple 1052s.
The code for ambulances.
Within hours, police identified the driver as Darrell Edward Brooks, Jr., a 39-year-old with a long criminal history. He was arrested shortly after.
I just used somebody's phone to call for a minute or something.
Oh, okay.
That's what I need. Yeah, one male 1026, the black male is ready for seizure.
I'll tell you what.
Okay.
If everything turns out to be on the up and up, life will be good, and you'll be on your way, all right?
Yes. I got it, guys. I got it. Suspect, I presume?
Unknown. Ask him.
Prosecutors didn't hold back.
This is case number 21 CF 1848, State of Wisconsin versus Darrell Brooks. Matters tabbed to Judge Lau. Appearance by the state, please.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Sue Opper and Leslie Basie, appearing for the state of Wisconsin.
Thank you. And for Mr. Brooks.
Darrell Brooks appears in person in custody with attorneys Anna Keyes and Jeremy Perry. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. And we are here on a criminal complaint that's now been filed. Mr. Perry, will Mr. Brooks acknowledge that he has received a copy of that complaint, and will he waive its reading in open court here today?
We have received copies of the criminal complaint. We waive formal reading.
Thank you. It may at some point be relevant, but the address on the complaint is accurate.
That's right.
Thank you. And Mr. Brooks, I have reviewed a copy of this criminal complaint. I will find it does state probable cause as to each of the 5 charges before you. You're charged in count 1 with first-degree intentional homicide. That's a Class A felony, and that has a maximum possible penalty of being sentenced to imprisonment for life. That's for victim A. Count 2, first-degree intentional homicide regarding victim B, is a Class A felony. Again, the maximum possible sentence is a sentence to imprisonment for life. Count 3, first-degree intentional homicide regarding victim C, is again a Class A felony, and that's punishable by a sentence to imprisonment for life. Count 4, first-degree intentional homicide regarding victim D, again, is a Class A felony. That's punishable by a sentence to imprisonment for life. Lastly, count 5, first-degree intentional homicide regarding victim E, is a Class A felony. That is punishable by a sentence to imprisonment for life. As those are felonies, you're entitled to have counsel. You're entitled to have also a preliminary hearing. And I, again, have found probable cause to each of the 5 counts upon my review of the pleading. So we will turn to Attorney Opper for her bail recommendation.
Darrell Brooks was charged with 6 counts of first-degree intentional homicide, 61 counts of reckless endangerment, multiple hit-and-run, and bail-jumping charges. In total, 76 criminal counts. But what truly shocked the nation wasn't just the crime. It was what happened next. Darrell Brooks made a decision that would define the entire trial. He chose to represent himself, No defense attorney, no legal team, just Brooks, questioning witnesses, arguing with the judge, and challenging the court's authority. Courtroom cameras captured it all.
The judge repeatedly warned Darrell Brooks that it will be extremely difficult to represent himself, but Brooks even at one point chuckled at the reminder, saying he doesn't see it as a challenge.
Mr. Brooks, your rights do not involve interrupting me.
Tense moments in Brooks' hearing.
I objected.
But after 2 days, a decision.
And from this point forward, Mr. Brooks will proceed as his own attorney.
Brooks' attorneys packing up and leaving the courtroom after the ruling. Judge Jennifer Doro says professional evaluations show Brooks is competent to defend himself.
The bottom line is this. I cannot make a finding based upon the record before me that Mr. Brooks suffers from a major mental illness that would interfere with his ability to represent himself.
Doro warning Brooks of challenges like jury selection, examining witnesses, and presenting evidence. But Brooks, undeterred.
I did hear you advise me of him. I don't see him as challenges, Your Honor.
A letter from Brooks' mother saying he's mentally unstable, not swaying the judge.
She may not understand. Frankly, her understanding is not material. You have the constitutional right to make this choice.
So the state has the ability to question you about that, or question this witness, and to look at the veracity of what your claims are here. So when I may take an early lunch. If that's in your cell, then you can go get it and bring it. But without that letter, I'm not allowing this line of questioning. Do you have the letter with you in court?
I just said no. How many times I got to say the same thing on record?
You know, sometimes, sir, I don't hear what you say because you interrupt me so much or you answer quietly. And I'm taking notes and I'm focused on probably a dozen things at the same time.
But if I say something under my breath, everybody seems to hear it. Everybody seems to hear that just fine.
In a quiet courtroom, yes, we can hear it very clearly.
Everybody assumes that it has to be disparaging.
Once again, you're doing this tactic.
Because it's not a tactic. It's facts. It's facts.
To some other reason.
It's facts. Because I find it hard to believe that
I'm gonna
all of a sudden nobody hears what I say.
I'm going to let the state make a record of why they believe it's objectionable, because I haven't let them do that. I've given you multiple opportunities to tell me why you believe it's...
I didn't get these pictures from nobody else. Why was somebody else...
The record will reflect you have 2 pictures that you believe were from this witness.
That I know is from...
No, that you believe.
That I know.
All right. I'll ask the state their position on all of this.
Judge Jennifer Doro repeatedly warned Brooks to follow courtroom rules. Instead, viewers watched. Constant interruptions, objections with no legal basis, arguments over jurisdiction.
You said you wanted to raise a legal issue. What's the legal issue?
The legal issue is how is the state allowed to coach the people?
You're assuming they spoke to them and coached them.
It's obvious. I'm not stupid.
Well, I disagree with that, sir.
We review when Waukesha Parade defendant Darrell Brooks, who represented himself, thought he knew the law, but got it so wrong.
Brooks being removed from the courtroom multiple times, the trial quickly became one of the most watched courtroom proceedings in modern history. Brooks cross-examined witnesses himself, often aggressively, a moment that made many courtroom observers deeply uncomfortable. After weeks of testimony, the jury deliberated for just 3 hours. On October 26, 2022, the courtroom fell silent. The verdict? Guilty on all 76 counts, every charge, every victim.
And I have confirmed that there are 76 signed verdicts and 76 unsigned verdicts, which would be what I would expect. All right, I will read each one into the record. We, the jury, find the defendant, Darrell E. Brooks, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in count 1 of the information, dated this 26th day of October 2022, signed by the foreperson, juror number 11. If you find the defendant guilty of first-degree intentional homicide, answer the following question, yes or no. Did the defendant commit first-degree intentional homicide while using a dangerous weapon? Answer, yes. We, the jury, find the defendant, Darrell E. Brooks, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in count 2 of the information. Did the defendant commit first-degree intentional homicide while using a dangerous weapon? Answer, yes.
Burn in hell, you piece of shit.
Hey, you are to be removed right now. You will not do that. We, the jury, find the defendant, Darrell E. Brooks, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in count 3 of the information. And I should state as to count 2, it was signed and dated by the foreperson, same as to count 3.
The judge thanked the jury for their service, calling the case emotionally overwhelming. During sentencing, victims and families gave impact statements. Parents spoke about children who never came home. Families described empty chairs at the dinner table.
I want to say thank you and praises to this community. I want to say thank you in the resiliency and strength of the families and victims who were involved in it and were impacted by this event. The investigation team, I want to send a personal thank you to the district attorney's office, Sue Opper, Leslie, Zach, and everyone on that team who assisted in this successful prosecution. I want to say thank you to the jury and the court process and the court proceedings and everyone that was involved in the court who found this defendant guilty, which is just and right.
I want to first thank the prosecution team. They were the one that got us to this point. I'm thankful for all their support along the way and getting us to this day. It's been a difficult day. I know that this will give us healing. This is another step forward in this process. We've been resilient all the way through. One of the things that I've said so much throughout this is that we're stronger than him, and it's been proven today. Just another step forward in the process. So I want to thank Sue, Zach, Leslie, all those guys for their hard work, Jen and her staff, and especially those first responders that just been brought up. They are the ones that especially kept me here, gave us a second chance, and they've kept our community strong. So yeah, Waukesha strong. As Marshall said, he touched on it, keep those blue lights on tonight. Thank you, everybody.
Every moment, from arrest to sentencing, remains publicly available through news footage, body cams, and full courtroom recordings on YouTube. 6 lives were taken in minutes, but justice unfolded slowly, in open court, under the eyes of the public. This was not just a trial, it was a test of the justice system itself.